We've been treated over the years to some pretty great pictures in the cinematic world. Actresses have without a doubt changed the way we think, look, and see cinema today. Alien, The Graduate, The Color Purple, Fargo, Pretty Woman, Misery, The Kill Bill Saga, and so many more. I myself could not do any justice to the amazing movies that we've seen over the years and come to love because of actresses. So sit back, relax, and grab a popcorn and a root beer. Well, if you're me, you're going to grab a root beer.
Yeah, what the heck? No.
As we break down our top five actresses of all time, this is a Comic Talkers production, and you are listening to Just for Flicks. What's going on, guys? It is Patty B, as always, man. It's great to be here. With me, as always, Mr. B Dog, Mr. Brandon. What's going on, man? I'm excited tonight. I'm excited to do our top five actresses. This is gonna be a fun one. There's a hard list to make, but it's gonna be a fun one. How you
This
doing tonight, man?
I'm doing good. This one, I'm gonna tell you right now, was harder than making my top five actors list. And the reason is because there are so many great actresses out in the world.
Absolutely.
And it's just hard because for me, how I judge my actors list is the same way I judge my actresses list. It's off pure rewatchability. If it's something I can sit there and rewatch, then you're up there higher on my list. But if it's something maybe I'll never watch again, you know, that's why I said it's a harder list. I'm not gonna lie. Actresses were hard. I went back and forth on five quite a bit. What's
Mhm.
roles to her, the one I chose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited. This is gonna be a fun list to do. How was your process of doing this? How hard was it to make this list for you?
So what I ended up doing was I kind of divided it into two lists. One's going to be the top five that makes it, and the other five are going to fall into that honorable mention list, which I'm excited when we go over the honorable mentions because there's a lot that definitely missed the list that are great.
Mhm.
Uh, but that's kind of when I went off, and then as far as ranking, I kind of knew what I wanted to do or who I liked the most. That was not the issue. It was kind of filling in the gaps in between. So it was fun nonetheless, but no, I'm excited to get into it. So should be fun. Should be a good time.
So, fans, remember when we do top fives or top 10 lists, these are our personal picks. These are not overall picks. So, in those comments, drop your top five actresses. We want to hear why you love these actresses, everything that you love to watch. But without further ado, Pat, I'll go ahead and get us started because
Okay. Yeah.
I'm going to give you hints to some actors that she's played with. I'm going to see if you can guess. My favorite overall that this actress has played with is with Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
She has also played with Mr. Robin Williams,
Okay, I know who it is.
too.
It's Sally Field.
It is Sally Field. I enjoy Sally Field as an actress. She is,
Yeah,
to
she's
me,
great.
she is the mom of
Forrest Gump.
no, she's mom of Hollywood, buddy. Every
Oh, she is the mom of Forrest Gump, though.
yeah, well, she is the mom of Forrest Gump. One of my favorite roles of hers, by the way. But she is just, I'm going to say it right now. Sally Field has 2 Oscars underneath her.
Mm-hmm.
To me, I feel like she's so underrated still. It's unreal. She is a great actress to me. I enjoy her. Like I said, in Forrest Gump, I love her role in Mrs. Doubtfire. Everybody forgets about Miranda,
Mm-hmm.
fake ass relationship with Pierce Brosnan. Anyway, not the point because I hate Pierce Brosnan. I'm just putting it out there
You
now.
don't like Pierce Brosnan?
There's only one role I like him in, and it's sad that they're not going to do tons with him now. And
James Bond?
no, I hated him as James Bond, actually.
Oh,
I
boo.
actually liked him as Dr. Fate in Black Adam. No, it's an odd pick, but
Is that new? That's new, right?
it's recent. It's about a
Oh,
couple,
wow.
and
He looks great in old age, though. Like he looks legit for certain parts, for sure. You know.
but but for him, he played with Rock in that movie, and I think
Yeah.
their dynamic was great. Him and Hawkman's as well. I love.
Mm-hmm.
Not the point. Some other roles that I love her in. I know this might be a popular pick. I kind of like her Aunt May from the Amazing Spider-Mans compared to any other Aunt May we've received. and that includes Tobey Maguire's Aunt May.
Mhm,
Like her, but she's good for him. I think Sally Field Aunt May works better.
mhm.
She she to me is what spots out Aunt May, not Marissa Tomei, but she's great. Enjoy her. I love her in Lincoln. The movie
Yeah.
is amazing with her in it with Daniel Day Lewis.
Wait, I have it's been a while since I've seen Lincoln. Is she married, Todd?
She is married Todd Lincoln.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool. Yeah, yeah. I think I remember that now. It's been a while since I've seen Lincoln, but yeah. Okay. That's a good role for her.
Yeah, she was, and with Daniel Day Lewis on top of
Daniel Day-Lewis, man. Dude, I love Daniel Day-Lewis.
Daniel
Yeah.
Lewis is a great actor. I enjoy him as an actor completely. Another thing I want to bring up too is her two Oscar wins.
Hmm.
Was Norma Ray, which was in 1980, and her next one was Places in the Heart in 1985. Um, she she is one actress that this was the actress I was going back and forth on. Like I
Hmm.
with the other one I had originally at my number five. But the main reason I went with her is a lot of her movies I can sit there and rewatch, and I enjoy her. Even 80, what was it, 80 for Brady? That was a fun movie to watch. I'm not a Tom Brady fan, but
Hmm.
I'm feeling that. I think she's a versatile actress. You can put her in a comedy role, you can put her in a serious role, and she's going to play that role. And she's amazing at it.
Yeah.
And of course, how can you not love Life is like a box of or chocolates for her?
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the best lines that's one of the best lines in cinematic history, right? I
And
would say.
it comes from Forrest Gump first in the movie, but she
Yeah.
gets it
It's
from.
from her. Yeah. And then she says it herself in the movie.
I will put this right now, and I know this is an unpopular opinion too. Her death
Uh-huh.
scene is probably to me one of the saddest in the
Her
movie.
what?
Her death scene. The last time we see her on her death,
Yeah. Yeah,
I
yeah,
would
yeah.
say is more tragic than Bubba and more tragic than Jenny. Because that's
Because
one person that was always part of his life.
100%. Yep, you took the words right out of my mouth. Yep.
You know,
No, definitely.
Bubba is what inspired him to do what he did, but that wasn't not I wouldn't say an impactful death,
Hmm.
but it was a death that changed him. And
Hmm.
Jenny was back and forth on him. So I
You know what's great is for Sally Fields too, is not only is she a legendary actress, like just alone, before what she did before Forrest Gump was iconic already, right? She was in Smoking and the Bandit, Steel Magnolias, all that stuff. And I think because of her role in Forrest Gump, long after she is gone, she will always be that movie is so iconic. She is such a big part of that movie too. She will always be remembered because of that movie.
yeah,
Like,
she's become the mom of Hollywood. I will
yeah.
because it was that and Miranda for Mrs. Doubtfire. It was literally back to back. I think Mrs. Doubtfire came out like a year or two before Miss or Forrest Gump did.
Hmm.
But she's also an actress that didn't allow the fame to go to her head. And that's also what I love. She is an actress that is pure and ready to go for any role she's given. You know.
Hmm.
So no, Sally Field, number 5 for me. Pat, what is
That's a good, yeah, no, that's a great pick. Sally Field's great. For my number five, I'm going also with a legendary actress, younger than Sally Field, but also did a movie with Sally Field. I'm going with Julia Roberts as my number five.
didn't even come close to my list.
I had a feeling you were not gonna dig that one,
I
which is fine because we have just completely different tastes sometimes.
and I think too, Julia Roberts is a great actress. Don't get
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
But I think how you feel about some things is how I look at it. For me, for pure rewatchability, I can
Hmm.
sit there and say I would rewatch a lot of her movies.
Hmm.
It's hard. Like I'm not saying the movie she's in is not good.
No, I get it.
Just like Aaron Brockovich is probably one of the only ones I can actually sit there and say I'd rewatch that. That was fun.
Mhm. That
With,
was fun.
with
Well,
Tom.
she's in some of my favorite, like she's in Hook.
I forget.
Um,
Dude, I forget all the time.
she's in Hook, not a big part of it, but Steel Magnolias with Sally Field, Aaron Brockovich. She got an Oscar, or she got an Oscar for Aaron Brockovich.
Yep, she
She's
did.
also been nominated 4 times total. So, no, Julia Roberts. I've always been a fan of her. When I was Pretty Woman is another iconic '90s movie with
That's the
Richard
thing I was
Gere.
gonna say. If you did not bring that up,
Yeah, yeah. No, I had all of her movies in front. Sorry, I was just trying to
I was
get
like,
that
you
go.
don't bring up.
No, I got you. I got you. Notting Hill with Hugh Grant. That's another good one. Another thing too, and I saw this earlier too when I was looking her up. Ocean's 11. I love her role in Ocean's 11. I love. You're not a big George Clooney fan, whatever. That movie's stacked alone just with the
That
cast
movie
that it
might be
has.
stacked, but it's not a good. I don't like. They're all stuck up actors in that movie. I don't like it, and it was a remake of a great movie. So no, I don't like it. It was
Hmm.
great. It was great with Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis Jr. I'd watch that all day.
Mm-hmm. Mystic Pizza is
Yeah,
another one I like. That's a good '80s movie. The Pelican Brief with Denzel Washington is another good movie.
it's very underrated. I'll give you
Very underrated.
very underrated.
And another one that's kind of a tearjerker is Stepmom with Susan Sarandon.
That
It's a good movie. Ed Harris is good in it too. I recommend Stepmom to anyone that's never watched it. Uh,
her the stepmom, her and Julia Roberts dynamic
mhm.
film,
Oh yeah.
fantastic, and
Mhm.
how they work together is just amazing. Susan Sarandon is a great actress. She's one of my
Oh,
all,
dude.
but man, that's why I say
Yeah. Well, the way both of their characters kind of come at each other in the beginning of the movie, right? And by the time that ends, dude, like I'll be honest, like the first time I watched it when I was a kid and I didn't really grasp it, but now that I got older and watched this movie, not somewhat recent, probably within a year, when I watched it, I literally kind of teared up just because it's just powerful at the end and it's sad. So, but what was I gonna get to? Uh, that's pretty much all I have on Julia Roberts. I've always been a fan since I was a kid. That was one actress that I was like, oh, Julia Roberts, I know who that is because when I was growing up, she was so big. Like she was already well established because of the stuff she did within the late '80s and '90s. So, that alone was already. I mean, I think I remember when Aaron Brockovich came out when I was a kid, and that was a big deal when it came out. I remember. So. But
oh,
yeah, she's my number 5. I will take it back to you for your number 4.
so I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna name some movies that
Okay.
this lady is in, and if you don't know this, then I'm gonna be shocked. First movie I'm gonna bring up is Titanic. I'm doing it to throw you off.
Oh, I think I already know who you're talking about because it's probably one of mine.
Okay, let's put it up there. I'm gonna go more. The Blind Side.
Yep, I know.
Two.
I already know. I don't want to spoil it.
Okay,
It's
next one is Fried Green Tomatoes.
I didn't know she was in that movie.
The next one, probably one of my favorites, Waterboy.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
overall favorite, and
You
what
playing the foosball behind my back?
I am going with Miss Kathy Bates. I
Yes.
enjoy her in this movie. I enjoy her in this industry.
Mm-hmm.
Titanic, she's kind of one of the sideline characters. Totally
Mm-hmm.
fine. Same thing with The Blind Side. She is a
Yeah.
sideline character in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Sue, she's the tutor of Michael.
Mm-hmm.
I love her in that movie.
She's fantastic in The Blind Side. She's a comfort character almost, right?
She's the one that she went to a different school
Yeah.
than they did, and so they were like, I love the whole like, oh, what about Tennessee? And then she's like, oh, well, you did this, like scaring
Mm-hmm.
him, and then like, oh, well, that's my opinion, and then he's
Mm-hmm.
like back to his work. He's all scared now. I love her, but let's talk about two of my favorite ones with her. Waterboy.
You
Jeez. Mama Boucher. I love her in this movie. She is okay. Let me explain something. I'm going to come back to that, and I'll explain why. Again, same kind of the same reason I like Sally Field. Let's go to Misery.
Mhm.
Misery is what she won her Oscar for, and for
Yep.
her to be a psychotic character as she becomes,
Yeah.
and her and James Caan in that movie, fantastic.
Mhm. Mr.
That
Henry himself.
why would God, man? Why you even have to bring up Miss Nam? No, can you imagine like
No, but no,
it's
Misery is iconic, right? I mean, didn't she win an Oscar
she
off
did
of?
win an Oscar
Yeah,
for.
she got an Oscar.
She won for Best Actress in this.
Old the old Oski.
She is the only this was her one and only Oscar she won, which is sad. She is a very versatile actress, and
Mhm.
that's kind of where I'm going with Waterboy. Look at a role she plays in Misery, then you look at a role that she plays in Waterboy. Two
Mhm.
different characters,
Mhm.
both both obsessive. One's comedic, and one's more scary. That legendary sledgehammer to the ankles will always be melted in my mind when I think of Kathy Bates. But I also can't sit here and say, "Oh yeah, Mama Boucher wouldn't be in there either."
He went full Triple H on him with the sledgehammer.
God, that scene, just to see her in that, and she was younger in that film too. To see
Yeah.
her just go like, "Oh, she wants to help him,"
Mhm.
turns completely psycho on him, and then because she wants the book to end the way she wants it to end.
Mhm.
So she pretty much like traps him, even though trying to save him, traps him in the process. Yeah. And then Waterboy, she's kind of doing the same thing. She's doing that to Adam Sandler and doing
Yeah.
Bobby Boucher, having him because she doesn't want him to leave because that's what her ex or Bobby's father did to her.
Mhm. Your daddy Roboito.
Like, I love
Um,
the iconic scene at the end of the movie where they get married and the dad comes,
yeah.
"Let's go to school," and then I was like, "Ah," love it. That's
I don't
all.
like this Vicky Valancourt lady. No, I was gonna
Yeah.
chime in too that Kathy Bates, I will say this too, Kathy Bates mate was my number two.
Oh, she was up higher on your list,
She
huh?
was up way higher on my list, but 'cause I had a lot that were I was filtering out a lot, and she was just one that kind of stood there, and I'm like, you know what? I think because of all the iconic, and like you said, it's just the range of acting, right? It's everything that she's done throughout her whole career, as far as characters go, and the differences between them all. Like you said, Misery, another big one, Titanic. That's a big one for me. Her role in Titanic is probably one of the best roles in that movie, besides Billy Zane, because I love Billy Zane. I'm a Billy
It's
Zane
sad.
fan.
It's sad though. You don't ever hear anything about Billy Zane
You
anymore.
don't, but he's great, man. Like
He's an iconic
he's a
villain.
perfect heel in that
Yeah,
movie, dude.
he's iconic villain. Iconic.
Yeah, he's one of the best villains. Yeah,
No, I want to
because
put
of
it out
that.
there. If you put it over Annie Wilkes, I'm telling you, you don't know villains very well.
He's
Annie,
a rich villain.
I don't care. He don't do nothing like Annie Wilkes does. Come on.
Oh, another one. I just watched a couple days ago. About Schmidt. Have
Yeah,
you seen About
yes, I
Schmidt?
have. It's been
Her
a while.
role, her role in About Schmidt's great, and she's not in it very long. She's probably in the movie for a total of 30 minutes, like towards the second half of the movie. Um, but yeah, she plays the mother-in-law, or yeah, right? Yeah, it's an Alexander Payne movie. You guys should check that out. This guy's same guy that directed Sideways. He did About Schmidt.
Yep.
The Holdovers.
There's another
But
one
any
up really quickly too, and this
yeah,
is not a movie. It's a show. I loved her character in The
and
Office.
I was just gonna okay.
I
Thank you.
love her as Joe.
No,
That's just
she's
pure.
great.
That's pure Kathy Bates. Like
She's great.
that's like I love how the dog's like, oh yeah, they're sniffing you, they like you, but they
Hmm.
it's a whole different story. And like,
I like how her and Jim kind of bounce off each other a little bit
well, I
too.
like too her and Dwight. You
Yeah,
know,
her and Dwight. Yeah.
even though she's the one that fires him, she loves his tenacity, and
Hmm.
it's just amazing to see her again. Another way of showing her
Hmm.
versatility in acting. She's now in Matlock. She's doing rebooting of Matlock. The original show had Andy Griffin, Griffin as the Matlock. She is now Matlock. So I'm
Oh,
like,
okay.
I can see that. I was like, yeah, I can see that. That would be her.
Oh,
But
she's an Oscar. Have you seen Oscar? It's a Sylvester Stallone movie.
ah, I don't remember that one as much.
Oh, Tim Curry's. Oh my gosh. It's got 11% on Rotten Tomatoes.
But yeah,
I'll have to take a peep at that one.
so if you're,
Uh,
I have nothing else to say about Miss Kathy Bates, but
yeah, no, like I said, Kathy Bates is great. Check her out. I mean, Titanic's one of my favorite roles of her, besides in Misery as well. And Waterboy. Those are three pretty good roles, I would say, amongst everything. But yeah, I will take it to well, who
it's
does it
you
go?
now because
Is it me now? Okay.
you just said your number 2, but you still have your number 4.
That is true. My number four.
Number 4.
My number four. She is one I grew up on. I had a crush on her too. It is Reese Witherspoon.
She is a good actress. I'll give you props there. There are
Yeah.
good movies, but again, it's like a Scarlett Johansson thing. There are some good movies, and there are terrible movies that come with her.
That I can't I mean, yes and no, but I mean, I feel like she did I mean, man.
Well, let's put it this way: like my favorite 2 of hers, I'll put it out there, is Walk the Line because she won an Oscar for that as well
Yeah.
as June Carter. But I also love her as Legally Blonde.
Mhm.
I think she's perfect in that. But that's probably the only 2 I can sit here and say I enjoy.
Well, not only that, she did, a couple shows, Big Little Lies. I don't know if you ever got to check. That's a great show. That was awesome. Besides that, like growing up with Pleasantville. Pleasantville has always been a childhood favorite movie of mine. Her and Tobey Maguire are great in that movie together. That's always been one of my favorite movies of hers, even though she, I guess, is more of a secondary character in it, but still, she's kind of iconic with it. I wouldn't say iconic for that movie, but definitely the Legally Blonde movies. You got Legally Blonde, Sweet Home Alabama, Walk the Line. I would say was probably her more serious, iconic movie,
Well, I
right?
think she's
So to
only
speak.
won 1 Oscar,
Yeah.
and that is what she won the Oscar for.
Hmm.
Mm.
But no, I mean, American Psycho was another good one. Four Christmases.
Yeah, you realize there was a lot. Well, American Psycho, I will never put on my list for her because I did not like that movie,
Oh,
and
you don't like that movie at all?
I hated that movie.
Why don't you
I,
try getting a
I would never watch it
reservation?
because it makes me feel very uncomfortable when I watch Christian Bale.
Mm,
I think for me,
because you're a Batman guy.
and also not only that, I do like gore, and there are other iconic roles from Christian,
Hmm.
but not only that, isn't Jared Leto in that movie too?
Yes.
That
Yeah,
was
he's Paul.
brutal too. Him and
Yeah.
Willem Dafoe is in that movie too, huh?
What's that?
Willem Dafoe's in that movie too.
He is. He's the what's it called? Detective.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. But
Um, but what was I gonna say? There was a movie. Oh, I just watched it a couple days ago. It was Election too. Election. That's another one.
that's probably my least favorite of hers. I'll put it out
She's
there.
good. I think
Yeah.
she's pretty good in it. Her and Matthew Broderick kind of bounce off pretty well off each other. It's kind of a weird movie, kind of a creepy movie.
It is a creepy one. That's why I said for her to do that and then do Legally Blonde shortly after, it just
Yeah.
felt really weird for me.
Hmm.
Like it's not like Kathy Bates, right? Kathy Bates went from Misery to she had other roles that led her up to Water, but it didn't feel like it was that psychoticness and then go to something like Legally Blonde,
Hmm.
you know. But I still would say Legally Blonde has some of her best moments. You know, I love the scene where she gets Luke Wilson to go up there and admit that the guy was doing a cover story because he's gay. You know, there's things like that that I enjoyed. You know,
Hmm.
it's a really good movie. I enjoy that. Her and Luke Wilson's probably my favorite duo. I like her. That's probably my
Hmm.
favorite duo for Luke Wilson. Not even his own brother. I put Reese Witherspoon up there easily over Dignan and
Stop. Uh, What oh man.
Reese
What
Witherspoon.
movie are you referring to with her and Luke
That's Legally
Wilson?
Blonde.
Oh, Legally Blonde. Okay, yeah.
That is Legally Blonde. Remember, he's like how do you say? He's not the lawyer, but he's kind of like his second. Because the main lawyer in that film is from Titanic as well.
Mm.
I can't remember his name, but he's also in the CW. He plays Firestorm. He's one half of
Do
Fire.
you know who he plays in Titanic?
No, like I said, it's been a long time since I've watched that. But if you've seen his face, you would know exactly who I'm talking about.
Sounds like you need to watch Titanic.
No, I don't. I don't want to sit there and there another 3 hours of romance that she just throws away at the end of it. Pretty much. And then see Jack go down again after she had enough room on that stinking door.
Yep.
Bastard.
uh,
But yeah. Do you have anything else to bring up on Reese?
I do not. I think she's like I said, she's a Inherent Vice. That's another good one. It's a Paul Thomas Anderson movie. I think that might
I
be.
think so. Yeah. I think that
That
is.
is a Paul. I was right.
Yeah.
Her and Joaquin Phoenix again. And this is way after Walk the Line, but that's another good movie. But yeah, no, she's great. I would check her out. She's one I grew up with. She's a younger actress compared to, I mean, some that are on my list, I would say. So
Okay. So I'll go to my number 3. I'm going to do the same thing. Trivia Mr. Patrick a little bit.
mhm.
Okay. First movie that I enjoy of hers is Haunted Mansion. Need a few more? You kind of think.
Okay, yeah, that one's not gonna do it for me. Is that the
Also,
new one you're thinking of?
yes, it is. Okay.
Okay.
She's also in the Star Wars franchise. She's also
Yeah.
Men in Black franchise.
Okay.
I'm saying franchise because if I tell you the exact thing
I
she's,
know. I already know who it is.
and then her 2 big ones was Rent and Clerks 2 and 3.
I know.
Who?
Mrs. Rosario Dawson.
That's Rosario Dawson. That woman deserves an Oscar or deserves an award of some sort. This
Mm-hmm.
actress is amazing. And Haunted Mansion, I love the revival of it. I enjoyed that movie more than its predecessor with Eddie Murphy because that was.
Mm-hmm.
But she plays a great mom, and seeing
Yeah.
her how she has to step up for her son in that movie is fantastic. Rent, I don't need to go over too much about it because you guys haven't seen Rent. What's wrong with you?
I haven't seen Rent. What are you gonna do about it?
I would love to say some words, but I'm gonna hold my mouth till later
Hold
on.
your mouth. Just hold it.
Shut up, man. No, I'm just messing. And Men in Black 2. She is great in this film. This is one of her, I want to say one of her first roles she was in. I don't think she was in too much before. Like she was in some stuff, but this kind of was one of her bigger movies that she was in. This is before Clerks. And this is before Star Wars. Who?
Mhm.
Okay, I gotta ask you, buddy. You know me enough now. Who does she play in Star Wars? I'm putting it out there. Who does
She
she
plays Ahsoka Tano, right?
She is Ahsoka Tano. And if anybody does not know, Ahsoka's my favorite character, and
Yeah.
also one of my favorite characters of all time.
Of all time.
You know, she's voiced by Ashley Eckstein, but if it wasn't for Ashley, Rosario would not be in the role for Ahsoka.
Mm-hmm.
But let's talk about Clerks. Clerks is by far one of my other favorite franchises of all time.
100%.
And Clerks 2 and 3. Clerks 2, I love her character because she's probably one of the, other than Dante, she is probably one of the most level-headed. Like,
Randall's my favorite character.
Like, I love the whole donkey scene. And she goes, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be appalled or intrigued. I don't know what you want me to do. right now.
Right.
But to see her, I love. You want me to tell you my favorite scene of hers, and it does come from Clerks 2. It's when her and Dante are dancing up on the roof. Now, it did kind of turn into a campy thing shortly after. Kevin Smith, you should have never braided your hair. And on top of it, dance to ABC. Putting it out there. Learn from.
ABC.
But that scene between Dante and her when they're dancing and when she reveals to him that she's pregnant, you see the love both of them have for each other. And I don't
Mhm.
know why that is like one of my favorite like eye to eye moments where you know they're in love. You can see Dante doesn't have a lot of acting experience. Clerks was his first movie, the first one. And then coming to this about near 10 years later, 12 years later, actually,
Mhm.
he didn't have a lot of background. But to see his acting, and especially with somebody like Rosario, is amazing. And Rosario is just a great actress overall. Clerks 3, she brings me to tears.
No, I was just gonna say too, like that for me, that scene alone, like, it was beautifully done too. I think
Clerks,
I had my doubts before watching that.
the
Before watching Clerks 3, I had a lot of doubts. Like I was like, "Come on, how?"
But I told
You
you,
know?
you're gonna think that, and then when you go into that movie, you're gonna actually turn more into tear jerkers
Mhm.
than to actually like. There's comedy scenes, don't get me wrong,
Oh yeah,
but it's a tear jerker.
it's a perfect. It's a perfect little. I mean, it's not a perfect movie, but it's
If they make another one after this, they're stupid. I'm gonna put it.
no, that was the perfect ending to
Yeah,
to everything.
especially Randall's story at the end, where you actually hear that he actually went on to make more movies,
Mhm.
and he actually started becoming more successful with it. You know that whole scene. What I love that they mixed in Clerks 1 and 2 is like this is Randall's vision of what
Mhm.
he experienced, or not only that, what Dante experienced throughout the time. It's amazing to see those scenes,
Well,
and
it's also Kevin Smith puts in a lot of his life life's tribulations and whatnot, right?
yeah,
He
Clerks is
he
based around his life. It was
yeah.
Dante is Kevin, like
Mhm.
Harry. Um, you know, it's funny because his real life wife is in Clerks too.
Mhm.
Is the woman that's dating Dante before Rosario or
Yeah,
Becky
yeah.
or Rosario Dawson confesses her love to him.
She's also in Zack and Miri Make a Porno.
Yeah, well, she's in a lot of, and because she's also in Clerks 3, she's the one that lends him the money
Mm,
so Randall can make the movie.
yes.
So,
That's
but
right. That's
oh,
right. That's right.
but she plays the same character she played in Clerks 2.
Yep. Yep.
So it's a good movie. Rosario Dawson, going back to her though, um, she is just a great actress. And it shocks me that she has not won awards. She's come close. She plays the night nurse and all the Daredevil, Luke Cage stuff. I love her in that.
Mhm.
I wish they would bring her back, but I seriously doubt that now because that's now Rachel McAdams and nobody likes her. Not the point. They should just bring back Rosario. But anyway, all these movies, she has other great movies in her belt. She's also a TV actress, so she's very versatile. I enjoy her. Dawson is amazing. Go check her out if you have not watched a lot of her movies. And my recommendations for you is go watch Ahsoka or Mandalorian or Book of Boba Fett. 'Cause she's in all three. And go watch Clerks.
Mhm.
Watch the franchise. You got to watch one to get to 2 and 3, but 2 and 3 are just amazing to watch Becky in those roles. And Becky, spoiler alert too, Clerks 3, she is dead. And you find out it's because of a drunk driver, everything. But Dante is struggling. And I love her scenes where she comes back as a ghost to him. My favorite
Mhm.
is the end scene when they're in the movie theater rewatching everything. And she comes in right when she entered his life. And I love that scene. It's amazing to see the acting in her. She's just a great actress. So Rosario Dawson's my number 3. So I'll turn it over to Pat for his number 3.
Yeah, so my number 3 is one that you're familiar with, I would say. Um she is, I feel like I'll give it away by saying this, but
Go ahead, try it. Try.
I would say she is in, I would say a main direct. She's in basically one director's movies, but also in a couple other. She's in a lot of other movies, but she focuses around being in one director's movies, if that makes sense.
Now you're kind of confusing me there now. So now I'm
How am I confusing you? Okay, so she
like,
is.
like
I know.
that was like, oh, it was gonna pull me away. I'm like, to be totally honest, I still haven't figured out who. That's
She's married to a director.
Are you talking about Melissa McCarthy?
I am not talking about Melissa McCarthy.
Okay, because her husband's a director too.
Really?
You talking about Madonna?
No, I'm not talking about Madonna. No, what?
Well,
Yeah, League of Their Own, dude. Masterpiece.
Guy Ritchie is a director, believe it or not.
Wait, who's married to Guy Ritchie?
Or at one point, she was. Madonna was.
Madonna was? Oh, I did not know that.
Okay,
It is
the beans at this point.
Frances McDormand.
Nah, I wouldn't have guessed that. Yeah, that don't shock me though with you because you like Fargo.
Yeah.
I knew you were gonna. I was
2 movies that come to mind, and I'm going to start with 3 Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri.
for other.
That one is a perfect. I mean, it's good, and I think a lot comes with, a steady cast too around it. With Woody Harrelson and Sam Rockwell. But her alone, just the way her character is, the way that she's like not going to take no for an answer. She wants to get down to the bottom of how her daughter went missing, right? No one's putting any effort into it. And it just really shows like how much compassion she has. And I guess any mom would do what she was doing, but she kind of goes out of the ordinary with the whole billboard thing, which I think is a unique idea, right, for what's kind of going on. I forget what the billboard said in the movie alone,
Well,
but
those actors in that movie got Oscars because Sam Rockwell did too.
yeah,
That's supporting for that.
I'm sure Woody Harrelson got a nomination.
I think he got nominated. He was in the same category as Sam Rockwell was.
Mm,
Sam Rockwell ended up walking away with it.
I gotcha.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, he did. Yeah, Sam
But
won for that,
but no, she's great in that movie. Again, Sam Rockwell with her character, those two together in that movie are oil and water too at times, right? But they're at the end of it.
It's such a French kiss,
Yeah.
it is good.
And then Burn After Reading is another great movie of hers that I like. That's a Coen Brothers movie, and she's married. I'm gonna blow it now. Which one? I'm kind of taking a 50-50 chance. I want to say she's married to Ethan, but I could be wrong.
I think she is.
But her other movie that is her masterpiece in my opinion. This is a perfect movie. I think anyone should watch this. It's Fargo.
Yeah.
Her as Margie Homestead. I think yeah. 94% on Rotten Tomatoes for anyone wanting it. I mean, that's saying a lot.
For William H. Macy. We all know that now. I'm just
It's all because of William H. Macy. I mean, I will say William H. Macy is a big part of that movie. But her deliverance of everything, the way her character is, right? She's this pregnant detective, very northern, right? It has that northern accent, that Minnesotan accent. Yeah.
Nah.
But she's just so smart, right? I think she's underestimated in a lot of ways. A lot of people don't think, especially the way William H. Macy's character involves himself with her, right? The way she's kind of asking him, and he's getting all antsy and, ma'am, I already told you. whoa, whoa, whoa.
I already told you. I already told you.
Yeah, I already told you. And she's like, oh, well, I'm a police officer up in Brainerd
Like,
investigating some malfeasance. It's just, yeah, go ahead.
I know we've talked about that before too.
Mhm.
And yes, out of all the characters in this movie, she is the best. But for me, you don't really get her best scenes till the end of the movie.
Yes.
And that's what's sad is because to me, she is a great actress. I'm never taking that away from her. She is,
Hmm.
but why did it take so long to get to those points?
Well, I think because the way that movie is, right? You have Steve Buscemi's character and Garrett Grimson, right, who his accomplice is, and William H Macy. So I think it that first like 30 minutes is to tell that part of the story, and then this is where it involves her character. I think that's what they were trying to do. I don't think, I mean, that's just, I think, the way the story was supposed to flow, and they probably didn't want to do anything out of order. I mean,
But see, to me, and I've told you this before too, I think I liked Steve Buscemi's character more than I liked hers. And it's just because I feel like Buscemi, Buscemi is a great actor.
ah,
Don't get
dude.
me wrong. I love him as an acting. He's kind of like a Kathy Bates. He'll have some great comedies, but he's known as the sleazy kind of gangster
Mhm,
or kind of thief or kind of petty criminal kind of thing.
mhm.
And he did such an amazing job in that movie, which shocks me that he did not win an Oscar for that. I would have given him an Oscar before I would have given McDormand.
Who, Steve Buscemi?
Oh yeah, absolutely, 110.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm not taking away McDormand. McDormand was great in that film, but I just felt like all her best stuff in that movie. It's not like Hannibal Lecter, right? Hannibal Lecter was throughout the movie, but he had great scenes every time you came in. McDormand had those scenes where it was like, okay, where are we going with this?
Mhm,
And then you get to the end where she has some of her famous scenes, catching the guy, having the little speech at the end.
mhm.
That's the only reason I just.
And it's a beautiful day. Yeah.
But her and her husband, I love those two.
Her and dude, right? Her and Norm are the best. They're a great couple. They're a great movie couple.
I just love
Uh,
the buffet, and he's sitting there like with this little tiny plate, and here she's coming with all three
yeah,
plates.
right. Hey Norm, I thought you were gonna go fishing in Mille Lacs. It's like
No,
after lunch. I'm like,
after
oh, dude, the movie always makes me hungry too when I'm watching it.
so
But yeah, go ahead.
so yeah, I was gonna say. So we've already did your number two.
Yes,
So
yes.
I'm gonna go over my number two, and I'm gonna list off some of her movies again. See if you can guess. She is part of the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit franchise.
Mm-hmm.
She is in The Aviator. She is in the MCU as a villain, and probably one of the best villains we've gotten. And she plays a famous queen.
Is she in Curious Case of Benjamin Button?
She is.
Is she in The Life Aquatic of Steve Zissou?
I'm not gonna say anymore. You should know this. I'll give you a hint. In the Lord of the Rings, she plays an elf.
Okay, I know who it is.
Who?
Kate Blanchett.
It is Kate Blanchett. Kate Blanchett is one of those actresses that is amazing. Okay, let me go over her characters. Galadriel, Lord of the Rings,
Mm-hmm.
characters in all Lord of the Rings. She is in my top five at least. Galadriel is kind of like an elf. I'm gonna say a witch, but she deals with sorcery. She deals with a lot of things that most elves don't do.
Yeah.
But Kate Blanchett in that role is amazing. She person like I still see the scene where she goes dark in front of Frodo, and I love her acting in that. It's like that's not forced acting. That's actually really great acting. Let's go over the Aviator. The Aviator was one of her first Oscar wins.
Yep.
She was Katharine Hepburn. What an amazing role for her. She is. You wouldn't think she'd play a role like this. That fast talking, smooth talking,
Yeah.
New Yorker
Aristocratic New Yorker, right? Yeah.
with Leo. And this is probably one of the only Leonardo DiCaprio films I could sit there and actually watch. and enjoy it. I'm not a
Leah.
big
I
Leo
can't
fan,
believe
and I know I'm gonna get a lot of heat for that too. Leo is just not one of those actors I could rewatch. Not to denying he's not a great actor. Okay, there are like I love Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, one of my favorite movies with him in it. I do like The Revenant. I think The Revenant was great. Did he deserve the Oscar win? Probably not. But
I don't think he does. I don't think he should have won it from The Revenant.
no, I agreed. But there are great movies with him in it, and there's terrible movies with him in it. And that's where, for me, and those terrible movies aren't technically all bad movies.
Mm-hmm.
They're not my cup of tea. Like my favorite probably is still to this day The Departed, and that is because I like the gangsters and him and Jack Nicholson's kind of collaboration there. But that's not the one we're talking about. We're talking about Kate Blanchett, Elizabeth.
Mm-hmm.
Those are two of my favorite movies with her in it too. She plays Queen Elizabeth, who is the daughter of King Henry VIII. And her sister, little history facts, her sister was Bloody Mary. That is what she was known as. And she pretty much tried to put in what her mom tried to do, Catherine of Aragon, and kind of have the Spanish kind of have, kind of a good relationship with the English. Well, Elizabeth came in and said, nah, that isn't going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go back to what it was, and brings it back to what her father had. But my two favorite, not only is Galadriel, but Hela from Thor. Hela from Thor was an odd role for her, and it worked because she's never really played a villain. And like Galadriel's borderline, but even then, Galadriel is still good. Just doesn't always agree with what her main group of people want.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean she's a bad person. But Thor Ragnarok for her is probably one of my favorite roles with Hela. And also, too, she's back together with another Lord of the Rings co-star, Carl Urban's in that movie as the executioner. So I love Kate Blanchett. She's a great actress. She truly is. She's again, you see all my actresses and go, they're very versatile actresses. And those are the actresses I love because they're willing to challenge themselves. They're willing to go outside their comfort zone and try something totally different.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be the same thing for my number one because my number one is the same way. But Kate Blanchett is one of those actresses that just really work with anything she's given. And it's funny because they always say for her to be the most serious in movies, she is probably the biggest kid behind the scenes. Like
Oh,
she's
really?
playing pranks on people. She's the one doing things like that to others. But she is like, when you watch her in every movie, what do you think, Pat? She's pretty serious. Like she's straight up.
Yeah, yeah, I would say so.
Like Galadriel, she's a very serious character. Look
Lord
at
of the Rings.
that's Galadriel. That's
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
yeah. Katharine Hepburn, very serious.
Yeah.
Queen Elizabeth, another serious character.
Mm-hmm.
Hela was kind of her borderline comedical, but still serious.
I know you haven't seen it, but I'm a big Wes Anderson fan. So The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou, she's a pretty solid character in that movie. She's pretty fun, not funny, but like it's not a serious role for her either. You know how those movies are; they're kind of more all over the place when it comes to certain characters. So, but what was it? The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. That's
That's
another.
so I'm not a fan of that movie, and there's because of one actor in that film.
Yeah, get over it.
I just I like what they
Just
tried
kidding.
to do, but I'm for fans. Why I say that I am not the biggest. Just like I'm not a big George Clooney fan, I am not a huge Brad Pitt fan. And it's not again. There are great movies with him in it, and there are
Hmm.
movies with him. Probably my favorite ones. I would probably say again is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I like him in Meet Joe Black, probably, and Seven. I'd put him up there as three of my favorite movies with him in it. But that's what I said. Benjamin Button was an interesting case. I always tend to forget she's in that movie.
Yeah.
When you think of her, like for me as a nerd, I think Lord of the Rings. I think MCU. I think Katharine Hepburn because that's what she won an Oscar for. I think of Elizabeth because I'm a history nerd. I don't think Benjamin Button.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I just feel like there are other roles that are better, and I don't even think she was nominated for that movie. I think she came close, but then I think they were kind of talking she was snubbed for that year because of that movie.
Mm-hmm.
But
I
yeah,
see that she's a voice in Ponyo,
yes,
the
yes,
Studio Ghibli movie. Yeah.
at least she is the mom in that.
Yeah, Grandma Mirror, I think
Yeah,
that's what it's. Yeah.
yeah, she's good. She's a good voice actress too. I enjoy her. Her and Liam Neeson are in that film.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's my number 2. So let's rifle off our honorable mentions, Pat. I'll
Okay.
go first and nail them out quick. I had my one that was going back and forth with my number 5 was Scarlett Johansson.
Mm.
I enjoy her a lot, but I think there's a lot of more movies, and like we talked about beforehand, that I liked, but would I go back and rewatch?
I see.
And I couldn't with a lot of her movies. Marriage Story, I would never go back and rewatch. Lost in
Yeah.
Translation, I have to be in the mood for.
Yeah.
The only ones I can really sit there and say, other than the MCU, would be like the other Boylan sister. I know a lot of people forget she's in that one with Natalie Portman.
Yeah. A Marriage Story is great. But like that's one of those like there's always those movies where you're watching them and you realize while you're watching it, you're like, I'm only gonna watch this the one time. It's good, but I'm only gonna watch it one time and never watch it again. Like it's just
Another one I like her in is Jojo Rabbit.
yeah, Jojo Rabbit's good.
Rabbit is amazing with her.
Mm-hmm.
I think she won. If she didn't win, she was nominated, and I think she was deserving of that. She was
Mm-hmm.
as the mom of the main kid. She is just great in that film.
I like her in Chef with John Favreau. Yeah.
Or Scoop too.
Scoop.
With Hugh Jackman along with Prestige. She's in Prestige.
She's in the Prestige?
Yes, she is. She's the assistant.
Okay.
So some of the other ones I had, Susan Sarandon made my list as honorable. Elizabeth Olsen did.
Mm-hmm.
Sandra Bullock did. Jodie Foster. Emily Blunt is an up and coming one. I think we need to watch for her. I think there's Quiet Place. You got Mary Poppins. You got a lot of good movies with her in it too.
Mm-hmm.
My last one, Salma Hayek. Easily.
Okay.
I knew Salma was going to make at least my honorables for this list. So, what about you, Pat? Rifle off your honorables.
I had my first honorable mention. She kind of got snubbed out of my top 5. Angela Bassett. Yeah. I'm a big Angela Bassett fan. I know we've kind of talked about her in the past. Me and you have, where she has a lot of good movies, but then there's also a lot of yeah, But What's Love Got to Do with It is one of my favorite movies. Her and Lawrence Fishburne are amazing in that together. She portrays Tina Turner. It's Tina Turner's life story. So
Just like Black Panther.
Black Panther.
She was amazing in that film, and she was nominated for that for Best Supporting.
Yeah. No, but she's just great. She's been around for a long time. So I also had Jamie Lee Curtis is another one of mine. I like her in True Lies. Is it True Lies with
Arnold?
Yeah, with Arnold. Yeah. I love that movie. Freaky Friday was another one I liked as a kid. With her and Lindsay Lohan, even though that's not like one of her known movies, but
I can't bring up Halloween in that conversation.
Halloween. Well, I was gonna get to it. Halloween is another iconic one of hers, right? From the late 70s.
Yeah, because she got that too, I believe, because of her mama. And if you know who her mama is, she is probably one of the most iconic horror scenes of all time, and that is the Howard scene from Psycho.
Yeah.
Yeah, like she's like horror royalty in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off. I was like,
no, go for it. You do you, boo boo. Another one who I think has a up and coming. I think she's kind of earned her stripes over the years. She's a younger actress, Jessica Chastain.
Yeah.
I love Jessica Chastain. She's I watched The Village a few months ago, and I had no idea until then that she was in The Village. I never picked up on it.
I thought that was Bryce Dallas Howard for some reason.
No, it's Jessica Chastain. I know they're very similar in look.
I'll give you that.
But Interstellar is one of my favorite movies of all time, Christopher Nolan film. She plays a great role in that as Matthew McConaughey's daughter when she's older.
Mhm.
But no, she's got a lot of good. Lawless was another good one that I like too. I don't know if you've seen Lawless.
She was great in it as well. It too.
Yeah,
Yeah, she was amazing.
Yeah, and yeah. And then I got two more. This is kind of an oddball one, but Rachel Weisz,
Yeah,
who
I like her
it,
in a lot of movies.
yeah, The Lobster was one that I liked her in with Colin Farrell. Weird movie,
Yeah,
an A24 movie, weird ending. Recommended though. And then she's in the iconic The Mummy trilogy, right?
yeah.
And who doesn't love the Mummy
Well,
trilogy?
remember, she's only in 2 out of the 3 trilogies.
That's right. Take that back. Yeah, you're right. She is in the first two.
Yeah,
But those first two are amazing. Like I love Brendan Fraser. With her and Brendan Fraser are great together. And
they're,
then go ahead.
they're a great couple together.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And then my final one, legendary actress in a lot of movies. I would say she's kind of like the actress of sci-fi, Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah, I was shocked she didn't make my list. Like,
Yeah,
I like her in a lot of stuff. Sigourney Weaver,
she's got some range to her.
Alien. What was it? You
Hmm.
quite a few movies with her in it.
Holes,
Holes. I forget she's in Holes too.
Avatar.
Yeah, I like her in Avatar. But of
Hmm.
course, never go wrong with Alien. Alien is like her most iconic.
Yeah,
Busters, you know,
yeah.
she's in Ghostbusters. Yeah, she's great. That's what I said. So I'll go if you're ready. Let's go to our number ones. I'll start with mine.
What do we have?
Okay, I'm gonna give you a hint. She's
Let's
also
do
in
it.
the Star Wars franchise.
Okay.
She is also known for movies like Jackie,
I already know.
Black
Say no more.
Leon the Professional, and V for Vendetta.
Leon the Professional is a great movie.
And it is her first movie, to be exact.
What? Who could this be?
It's Miss Natalie Portman. This is an actress that
Yes.
I love a lot of her movies. I can sit here and rewatch a lot. Like 95% of her movies, I could sit there and rewatch and go, I enjoyed that movie.
Hmm.
Annihilation had a great one. I know it's kind of a confusing movie for some. I enjoyed her in that. I thought she was great. It was something different. V for Vendetta. V for Vendetta, I know, is a very controversial movie. And here's the reason why. One of them is because the directors did not get Alan Moore involved, who wrote the original comic, and kind of essentially that and League of Extraordinary Gentlemen made him go away from Hollywood and said anything that's made of his works, he does not want to have any credit because what that is garbage compared to his work. Watchmen is another one of his. Yeah, the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, V for Vendetta. There's a lot of stuff that he's.
Hmm.
Anyway, not the point. But her as Evie is very, very powerful. I enjoy her as Evie. It's probably one of my favorite roles of her of all time. This is where you get the iconic. She balded her head for quite some time, and this is the scene movie 4.
Hmm.
I love the iconic scene at the end. He's you, he's me, he's them, he's this. It is a great movie. I love her and Hugo Weaving's dynamic in that film. I think
Hmm.
they're kind of an underrated duo.
Hugo Weaving plays the villain, right? Or he
Plays
plays the
B. He plays B.
plays V. That's awesome. That's a great role for him
And I
too.
don't like, okay, and we'll revisit that because I don't look at B as a villain. Okay. He's the antagonist going against the government, but the government's considered the antagonist in this case
I
because
see.
it's dictatorial or a dictatorship, pretty much. Which was played by John Hurt in that, which is amazing. Not the point. Jackie. She plays Jackie Kennedy.
Hmm.
Great iconic role for her.
I gotta watch that. I've seen parts of it. I never got a chance to watch the whole thing though.
It is a great one. Leon the Professional. Let's go into that one. Leon Professional is kind of a weird role for her, and it worked.
Hmm.
I love her in this film. She was young in this film. This was
Very young.
4 or like 3 to 4 years before Star Wars for her, and it just was really weird. Black Swan. I enjoyed her as Nina in this film.
Hmm.
It's a very dark tale. Don't get me wrong. This is a very dark tale of her pretty much going to a dark side of her as she's trying to get to what she wants. And yeah, fans, I watched a ballet movie. Get over it. I enjoy her in this film. I think she's great. It turns into a very light character where she is a mom, she is everything. But to get to what she wants, she has to turn to the dark side a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's perfect the way it's shot. My favorite one of all, Padme Amidala. Still to this day, Natalie Portman is one of my favorite actresses because of those roles.
Mm-hmm.
I liked her over Hayden, and that's
Well, the whole fan universe of Star Wars, right, has her love and support for her, right? I would imagine.
Yeah, now they have love and support for Hayden too.
Yeah, that's good though.
He
deserves it. He deserves it.
But either way, Padme Amidala is a very strong character.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think you would have gotten that from anybody else other than Natalie Portman. She is a very strong actress. To me, why in every movie she's in, she tends to be the lead actress in the film. And there's a reason for that. She can lead with an iron fist there a little bit. And two, she's another range actress. She can play in serious. She can play in comedical. She can play, dark roles. That's why she's so good at what she does. So yeah, Natalie Portman's my number one. So Pat, let's go into your number one.
My number one, it's one of my favorites. Childhood crush, but she's an amazing actress at that too. She's the one, the only Mrs. Sandra Bullock.
I figured.
Yeah, she's my number one. She's got a lot of movies that are just rewatchable for me. As a kid, a big one for me, and this is gonna sound crazy, but Miss Congeniality is a great movie.
There's nothing wrong with that movie. Like you think
I love that movie, man. I love her with Michael Caine. Like that's so cool. Michael Caine in those movies is fantastic.
I love him in that film.
And then you got William Shatner on top of it. No, but Sandra Bullock, I mean, one of my favorite movies also with her and with her and Keanu Reeves is Speed. I love Speed. I've always been a fan of Speed. I love it's so bad, but it's so good. Dennis Hopper, that movie. Another favorite of mine is Demolition Man.
Yeah.
With her, Sylvester Stallone and Wesley Snipes, as well as Rob Schneider's in it too. It's a slept-on '90s movie right there.
But let's talk about her too. What was it? Let's talk about her Oscar win. Let's talk about a movie that's pretty controversial now because of things
of how it unfolded, right?
Yeah, but The Blind Side.
The Blind Side, yeah, that's a great movie.
He is great in that film.
Fantastic.
Like Mrs. Chewie is always going to be one of my.
Takes no for an answer. Doesn't take no for an answer. That's what I meant. Sorry, it's a really misleading quote I just said.
Gravity is another great one.
You know what? I'm not a big Gravity fan.
I like her in the movie. I don't like the whole premise.
Oh, but Mr. Fox is fine, right? You don't
throw that away. I also love her in The Heat.
Mm-hmm.
I love her with Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah,
she's iconic with her.
Sandra Bullock is great. I don't think she can do any wrong. I mean, she's probably done some stinkers, but all in all, I've enjoyed her movies. A big '90s actress, young actress at the time, and like I said, there's a good amount of her movies that I can just rewatch. And like I said, Demolition Man, Speed, Miss Congeniality. Those are three of some of my favorite movies. Like Demolition Man, especially. That's a great movie. Slept on movie. Go watch that, fans. Go watch Demolition Man tonight. If you're gonna watch a good '90s action movie, check it out.
And also, fans too. We'll end the podcast on this end, but tell us what your top fives are. What do you think about our top 5 actresses?
Yeah.
You're back.
We wanna know. Can you show us? Sorry.
Yeah, no, you don't ever butcher Tarzan's song. I wanna know. Will you shout it?
No, no, but the
Strangers
strangers
like.
like me.
But
Good old Phil Collins.
but yeah, let
Let's
us know in those comments what you love, what you hate about
yeah.
actresses, some of your favorite actresses, their favorite movies of them. Let us know. So I'm gonna turn it over to Patty B to finish out this podcast.
Yeah, thank you guys for everything. It's been a fun one. It was good going over our top 5 actresses. And without further ado, just remember we do it just for flicks.